Hello and welcome to this vlog series Stressed About Stressed, Getting Back to Basics. My name is Dr. Julie Denning. I'm a chartered health psychologist and CBT therapist at Working to Wellbeing. And today I'm going to focus on some tools and techniques that can help you to manage stress in your everyday lives, to try and think about how you can do things differently to maybe reduce the stress that you experience. But first of all, what I want us to do is just focus a little bit on what stress is and to think about what your experience is. So you need to do some reflection here with me and to think about, for example, when you feel really stressed, do you notice you have loads and loads of thoughts going through your mind? They might be future focused thoughts, they might be past related thoughts, but they might be thoughts that are just unhelpful because you find yourself going around in a bit of a vortex. You might also notice certain physiological responses, so you might notice your heart beats faster, you might notice your breathing gets a bit more shallow and you can't quite catch your breath. You might notice you get butterflies in your stomach, so there might be all sorts of physical sensations. You might feel really tense and wound up in your shoulders at your ears, for example. You might notice a whole range of emotions, or you might just have that big descriptor of stress, but you might also kind of unpick that word stress and you kind of notice that you're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or angry or frustrated, anxious, concerned, fearful. There might be lots of different emotions that you're experiencing. But there might also be some things you do, some behaviours. So you might notice that you procrastinate a lot, or you avoid doing things, avoid situations, you put stuff off, you just generally kind of drag your heels, oh manana, I'll do that tomorrow, that kind of thing. And that's what we're going to focus on now, is actually thinking about what you do and what you can do differently to help you manage stress. So I'm going to see the side of how can you help your future self to reduce those potential stressors. How can you help to manage maybe the way that you do things differently in order to help yourself and reduce those stress levels that you experience. Okay, so what I want you to do is think about behaviours and things you do in kind of three different ways. I want to think about it in terms of cognitive ways, so things that you're thinking about, things that are going on in your mind. Think to help your mind, and think about physical things that you could be doing, physical behaviours, and emotional stuff, how we can kind of help things from an emotional perspective. Okay, so I'm going to break these down for you and I'm going to help you. So let's think kind of how you can help your thinking. So for example, if you've got a really busy day ahead of you, try and think about putting some breaks in. You can use all sorts of different tools and techniques and gadgets to put focus time in your diary, that kind of thing. Or you can just plan your diary and just make sure you've got like admin breaks in all the time, that you've got lunch breaks in all the time, that you've actually got some time and punctuations during your day. Maybe around a really difficult meeting, you put like 15 minutes before the meeting to gear up for it and plan, 15 minutes afterwards just to debrief and unwind. Really think about how you're diarising your day, and you're blocking time for yourself, and particularly avoid back-to-back meetings. We've kind of got in this world, haven't we, of Zooming and Teamsing, that we're just back to back, and that's really exhausting for us. So just think about how we can help our minds by just giving us literally a bit of a break. Okay? Think about the way that you function during the day. So are you like a really alert morning person? Or are you actually much more productive later on in the afternoon? Just do a little bit of self-analysis in that regard and think, actually, I really notice, 3:30, awful time, don't plan any meetings then, but I'm really sharp and on the ball in the morning. And just think about when you can plan the most cognitively challenging things, the things you find most difficult. Plan those at the time of day when you're most alert and you're going to give yourself the best chance of completing them. And if they're particularly difficult, just give yourself a bit more time for the meeting. Don't rush, don't put yourself under pressure. Rather than putting 45 minutes in, put an hour and 15. If you get finished earlier, brilliant, you can have a break. If you don't, you've given yourself that extra time and space to do that thinking. And just then enables you to concentrate and to give yourself and your mind that best opportunity to be as productive as it can be. Let's kind of switch our focus now to physically how we can help ourselves. So we have heard a lot about walk and talk meetings, about getting up and exercise is medicine. Well, the thing is, folks, it is. Exercise is medicine, and we do want you to get up and move about and move your bodies. If you're in a particularly sedentary role, we want you up and out of your chair, even if it's standing. That would help. But really, we want you just to punctuate your day by popping out and going for a walk, just a 10-minute around the block. Mimic your commute in the morning and in the evenings. Just get yourself out in that fresh air. Make sure that you do take a lunch break. You're stepping away from your desk. You're not munching while you're lunching, as it were. You're munching while you're lunching when you're working, rather I should say. We're actually helping you to munch and lunch away from your desk. so that actually you can give yourself that time and separation and space from all those activities, and just have some time where the dust can settle and your mind can just relax and rest for a bit. Okay. But also you might want to use things like various apps like Active 10 or Couch to 5K, and actually find time in your day when you can engage in that level of exercise and activity, because you will find it refreshing. You will find that enables you to be more productive in the afternoon. And sometimes you can feel that tension, I just can't possibly go out for a walk. How can I do that? I've got too much going on. But what you will find that if you pause and stop, go for a walk, you will come back in and you'll be so much more refreshed, and you'll be more alert, and you'll be more productive in that afternoon. You might also want to think about engaging in some stretching and moving at your desk, just doing some gentle kind of literally raising of your arms and outwards. And I'm no physio, but just helping to create a little bit of stretch even across the shoulder blades there. Just to help you kind of have that sensation that you're not just static in one place, you are actually moving your body. Our bodies are designed to move, and we want to enable you to be moving throughout the day and not just rigid in one position. But you also might want to think about how we can kind of have snacks of exercise. There's kind of this pressure, isn't there, that I'm going to go to the gym this evening and do my hour-long exercise class. But maybe we should be thinking about it slightly differently, and actually just going for a quick brisk walk for 10 minutes actually can be just as energizing for us. And maybe we just need to snack with exercises. And if you're in an office that's got multiple floors, go to the furthest floor to go to the bathroom. Go to the furthest kind of kitchen if you can. Really use the stairs, don't take the lift. Find like quick wins that you can engage in just to keep moving your body. Double whammy of exercising and pausing, taking time away from your desk can be really, really useful. But maybe think in terms of exercise snacks you're doing regularly, rather than that pressure that you must go to the gym or you must go do that exercise class. And then we kind of come to the emotional side of things. How can we help you to manage the emotional parts of your day, and to manage stress on that front as well? So we know that some situations that we find ourselves are particularly emotional and emotionally laden, and that can take us a lot of energy from us, really, because it is the activation of the fight or flight response when we're finding ourselves in those emotional situations. We want to try and help ourselves as much as we can. We can't avoid stress, we can't avoid emotional situations. We're human, we're going to experience this range of emotions and of situations, but we can help ourselves. So, if you do have that difficult conversation, just give yourself some time before to mentally prepare, to get yourself in that space to be able to deal with the situation. And then give yourself some time afterwards as well to debrief. You might want to talk to somebody about it. You might just want to be alone and go, crikey, that was difficult. Just give you that time. Remember your social contacts. We're social beings. We like to connect with each other. And you could see that during the pandemic. We weren't allowed to physically see each other, but boy, did we find other ways that we could connect. Zooming is now a verb. Previously it was a company, and we are all actively doing that to try and connect with each other, because that's what human beings like to do. And it's about sharing of stories, offloading, getting another perspective. It can really help. That adage of a problem shared is a problem halved is really very true. And social support can be a massive buffer in terms of mental ill health and low mood, for example. So get out there, connect with people, talk to them, share, offload. But also be very compassionate and self-compassionate. Look after yourself, look after your needs. We want to help you kind of stay in this perfect zone of stretch a little bit, but not stretching beyond capacity and putting ourselves under strain. We want to be kind to ourselves. We want to keep us in that zone where we're on our toes, but we're not falling over. And that's going to require you to look after your needs. Notice if you've got particularly emotional scenarios coming up. Notice if you've got to do something particularly physical or cognitively demanding. And think, how can I help myself in that situation to reduce the stress I'm going to experience, so that I can stay calmer, I can allow my thinking to be straight, I can allow my body to be firing on all cylinders, and I can help myself as best as I can. Okay, so there are just a few tools and techniques there that might just help your future self if you plan, use your diary, get out and exercise, look after your emotional needs. You may well find that your overall stress levels will decrease and make your quality of life just that little bit easier. Thanks very much for listening.